Before we dive in, a quick favor. If you're hooked by stories like this and crave more tales from the battlefields of World War I, please give this channel a thumbs up, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Your support fuels the channel and helps us bring these stories to life. Thank you. They stood their ground for an astonishing 191 days, never surrendering an inch. They were among the first American units to set foot on the war-torn soil of Europe, and remarkably, among the last to leave when the guns finally fell silent. Yet, upon their return home, the fanfare and accolades they deserved were conspicuously absent. Have you ever heard of the legendary Harlem Hellfighters? Picture New York City in 1917. A cacophony of clanging streetcars, bustling sidewalks teeming with life. But the newspaper headlines screamed of a distant war raging across the Atlantic in Europe. In the vibrant heart of Harlem, young black men, filled with a mix of patriotic fervor and a burning desire for equality, lined up along Lenox Avenue, they bravely volunteered to fight for a nation that, shamefully, still denied them their fundamental rights as human beings. These men became the core of the 369th Infantry Regiment, later immortalized as the Harlem Hellfighters, a moniker bestowed upon them by the terrified German soldiers who faced in the trenches, a name that echoed their ferocity, Holland Camphor, the Hellfighters. But even before these courageous men could confront the enemy on the battlefield, they had to overcome a far more insidious foe, the prejudice and blatant rejection from within their own army. Many American officers, blinded by the pervasive racism of the era, flatly refused to serve alongside black soldiers. As a result, the 369th was transferred to command the French army, a nation that, while desperately in need of soldiers, was also more willing to recognize their worth and treat them as the capable and courageous fighters they were. Spring 1918, the Western Front in France. The Champagne region was a desolate landscape of mud, rain, and the acrid, lingering smell of cordite. The Hellfighters entered the labyrinth of trenches to the distant rumble of artillery fire, a constant reminder of the deadly game unfolding around them. In these cold, damp, and claustrophobic trenches, two names would soon become synonymous with extraordinary bravery: Henry Johnson and Needham Roberts. One fateful night in May, during a routine guard duty shift, they heard the unsettling sound of rustling coming from beyond the tangled barbed wire defenses. Then, like ghosts emerging from the darkness, they saw shadows, German soldiers stealthily creeping toward their position, intent on a surprise attack. The assault was swift and brutal. Bullets tore through the night air, and the screams of the wounded echoed in the darkness. Roberts was struck, falling to the ground with a painful wound. Johnson, without hesitation, returned fire with his rifle until it jammed, rendering it useless. But he refused to yield. Drawing his knife, he lunged at the enemy, a whirlwind of fury and determination. He fought with savage intensity, even resorting to his bare hands when his knife was lost in the melee. He stood alone against a German raiding party, a desperate bulwark against the encroaching enemy. When the Germans finally retreated, leaving behind their weapons, gear, and even their own wounded, Johnson and Roberts had miraculously survived. They had held the line when it mattered most, preventing a breakthrough that could have cost countless lives. French officers showered them with praise, recognizing their extraordinary valor. The French army awarded them medals, a testament to their heroism. But back in America, the newspapers barely acknowledged their names, their bravery largely ignored by a nation still grappling with its own deep-seated prejudices. 191 days of unbroken courage. The Hellfighters fought relentlessly, displaying unwavering bravery in battles that stretched from the Champagne region to the Argonne Forest. 191 grueling days on the front lines, enduring more time in combat than any other American unit. And remarkably, against all odds, not a single Hellfighter was ever captured by the enemy. They fought with unparalleled determination, but they also brought something uniquely special to France: the vibrant sound of Harlem. Under the inspired direction of James Reese Europe, their military band introduced the soulful sounds of jazz to a European audience for the very first time. The joyous melodies of trumpets, the rhythmic beat of drums, and the syncopated rhythms of ragtime music echoed across villages and military bases, lifting the spirits of weary soldiers and civilians alike amidst the bleakness and despair war. In the trenches, jazz became more than just music. It was a reminder of home, a symbol of hope, and a powerful heartbeat of strength. November 1918. The guns finally fell silent, bringing an end to the long and bloody conflict. The Hellfighters returned to New York City to a roaring welcome from a grateful crowd. A massive parade, a testament to their sacrifice, stretched down Fifth Avenue and into the heart of Harlem. Flags waved, tears flowed freely as families reunited. And for one glorious day, they were celebrated as the heroes they truly were. But the harsh realities of American society were waiting just around the corner. Segregation remained firmly entrenched, and the insidious poison of racism continued to permeate every aspect of life. Many of these brave soldiers, wounded in body and spirit, exhausted and emotionally scarred by the horrors of war, returned to a society that refused to fully acknowledge their sacrifice or grant them the equality they had so bravely fought for. Henry Johnson, the legendary hero who had single-handedly fought off a German raiding party in the dead of night, struggled to cope with his injuries. He found no stable employment and tragically died in poverty, largely forgotten by the very country he had so valiantly defended. It was only decades later that the United States finally posthumously awarded him the Medal of Honor, a belated recognition of his extraordinary heroism. The story of the Harlem Hellfighters is far more than just a military tale of courage and sacrifice. It is a poignant story of bravery overshadowed by prejudice, of unwavering determination that refused to break, even when the world seemed determined to ignore it. But one lingering question remains. What was it about these men that instilled such fear in the hearts of the German soldiers that they christened them the Hellfighters? And what exactly happened in those brutal battles that enabled them to stand their ground for an incredible 191 days? We'll delve deeper into those untold stories and uncover the truth in the next video.